Welcome back, y'all. In this video, we're going to continue working with our theme that when you learn how to teach yourself MATLAB, great things happen. Another way to say that is, by the end of our time together, I hope you can look at me and say, psh, that guy's useless. I could teach myself all this and actually be able to follow up on that positive self-affirmation. This particular video, we're going to go through the process of signing up for a MathWorks account. I'm going to use a test student account just to kind of show you how this works. There are a few different ways to get here, one of which is through MATLAB itself. So if I click sign in on the top right-hand corner of this thing, that will bring up the sign in window. If I've already created a MathWorks account with a working email, I can use that email and account information to formally sign this session in using that information. Or if I don't have one, I can click create one. This leads me through a portal that allows me to create an account using MATLAB. However, I actually want to do this online. To do that, we'll go ahead and open a browser and then just type in MathWorks Online. This should get me to the MathWorks website. So you see that MATLAB Online and then MathWorks, makers of MATLAB and Simulink. If I go ahead and click on that, that leads me to the MathWorks main homepage, which is www.mathworks.com. In this case, we're trying to create a new account. So I'll go over to the little bar with the profile. This is an anonymous person's profile. Go ahead and click on that. Of course, I already have a MathWorks account associated with my teaching email, but in this case, I want to show you how to do this, assuming that I didn't have that. So I'm going to go ahead and say, no, I don't have an account. Let's create one. Here, I'm going to type in an account that's associated with a personal email, which I have not yet associated to MathWorks. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to blur it out so you can't see my information. Of course, they're asking me where I'm from. That's United States. Which best describes you? I suppose, let's say that I'm a student of life for this email address. In my other email address, I might call a teacher or a researcher, but here I'm a student of life. Am I at least 13 years old? I think so. Yes, that's true. Notice MATLAB is reminding me that the best way to access MATLAB's license is to use my university email. That's because I've told MATLAB that I'm a student, and a lot of universities might have special licenses specifically for students. So it's just kind of letting me know this. For now, I'm going to go ahead and continue with my current email. Notice MATLAB is asking me to go verify my email address by signing into that email address and then checking the link that was sent to me. Of course, there's some troubleshooting issues here. Please check the spam folder, send this email to me again. I can click that button. And then also I can contact customer support. Notice when I sign into my email, the top email is from MathWorks. This took literally about a minute. I go ahead and click on that thing. Inside it says verify this email. I will go ahead and do that now. Once I do that, it leads me to this page where I'm supposed to put in information. I'm going to go ahead and fill out that page in fast forward mode. One quick call out right here. It says to link an account to a license. So if I've already purchased a MATLAB license and I have the activation key or license number, I could enter that now to associate this with the MathWorks accounts that I'm creating. I don't have one of those yet for the email address that I use, so I'm not going to put anything there, which is okay because this says optional. I also have the possibility of asking MATLAB to direct me to contact support in case I can't figure out how this all works. I would also recommend browsing through the online service agreement. I'm going to go ahead and accept that because I've already done that in the past, and I'll create my account. This immediately leads me to my online portal, which gives me a lot of good information. It gives me my courses, service requests, bug reports, MATLAB drives, link to a license. I can get a trial. So for those of you that don't want to make the purchase decision in MATLAB at this moment, you could get, I think, a 30-day trial with this. You can also purchase the different MATLAB options. We're going to focus our work in this video on updating our account and then changing our security settings. Let's go ahead and click on my account, which I'm currently on, and let's click on your name. So my name is Jeff Anderson. I'm going to go click on that. That leads me to an edit profile page. Notice that my contact information is included here, but then I can click on this community line. One thing that I always encourage my students to do is to become active in the MATLAB community, especially if you're serious about learning this language. To do that, you can actually fill out your organization name. So in this case, I am from Foothill College. So go ahead and fill that out. And then I can do a quick blurb about me. I can also update my profile picture and then allow users to contact me securely, display my company and university name, link my Facebook account, LinkedIn, YouTube. I'm not going to fill anything out for my test account, but I will say that I actually have to update my regular account with some new information now that I see this. The next thing that I would encourage all of you to do is to go to the security settings and then go to two-step verification. This will allow you to enable two-step verification, which means every time you try to sign into your MathWorks account, you'll associate a cell phone with that so that MathWorks will send a verification to your cell phone so that nobody can impersonate you. The reason that that's kind of useful is if you store financial information or you have other sensitive information in your MathWorks account and somebody somehow gets access to that on a school computer, that person can't actually log into your account without access to your cell phone. I encourage all of my students to do this. I do this myself. It's useful to do that. You just push that button. Now that we've kind of updated the bare bones of our MathWorks account, one thing that I want to do is go over to the community button. So let's go ahead and put community on this. And notice that there are a ton of different links at the top. This is called MATLAB Central. You can think about it like a central hub of information. We're going to talk a lot about the file exchange. So if you go ahead and click on file exchange, this is a space where community members write code that other people can access. And there is a ton of information on this. Notice here's an intuitive aircraft design file. We've got a CFD, I'm guessing that's computational fluid dynamics toolbox, which is really powerful. There's automotive design, Arduino. There are a ton of resources that the MATLAB community produces. You might even produce some files that you want to share. If we go back to the community tab, notice there's also this thing called MATLAB Answers. This is a searchable repository of questions and accepted answers. It is moderated and curated. It's kind of nice. So you can go ahead and click on questions and browse through many of the questions associated with the different products here. We're going to focus most heavily on MATLAB in this course. There's 56,000 questions, 55,000 questions. Think about that for a minute. You're going to be going through the process of trying to get questions answered. Chances are that somebody in this community has asked the exact same questions that you have. Moreover, there's likely an accepted answers to those questions. So at your fingertips, as long as you're willing to do some searching on your own, you might be able to find answers to many of the questions you have just by accessing the online community in MathWorks. Let's go back to the MATLAB Central webpage. We'll go to the community home. Notice we've talked about the MATLAB Answers, which are questions and answers that have been posted on MATLAB's website. File Exchange are where we can share files between people. There's also this thing called blogs. Notice once I clicked on that, that leads me to this blogs homepage. There are recently published blogs that give me a lot of information about MATLAB and different features. There are also subscribe to all blogs where I can get information from all bloggers. I tend not to want to do that because I don't want my email to be overwhelmed, but definitely meet the bloggers I find useful. You can get a little sense of different people blogging. I'm definitely going to reference specific blog posts from some of my favorite bloggers on this community. There's a lot of good information. Fun fact, this guy right here is called Cleve Moeller. He wrote an early version of MATLAB in the 1980s, and then it was picked up by two of his master's students in engineering who launched the company. He now works there as the chief academic officer in that particular thing. He has some really, really fun posts about numerical computations in MATLAB. I also find Lauren, I forget her last name right now, Schur, I believe is how you pronounce that. She has some great posts. We'll talk more about this as we kind of dive into some posts that are topical, directly related to the work that we do together. That's enough on blogs. Let's go back to MATLAB Central. Notice there's this button that says participate. I can ask a question, answer a question, upload files. I hope to talk about GitHub in a later video. We're not going to get there right now. There's also topics, different distance learning community, power electronics control, sim biology community, and more. Let's go ahead and treasure hunts, highlights, advisors. All of this is just food for thought, but I wanted to show you that this online community is super useful and have you set up your online MathWorks profile so that if you wanted to engage in this way, you have access to that at your fingertips. Of course, I'm going to end with a challenge to you hardworking mathematicians, engineers, and scientists. In the comment section below, please post your favorite sources of information about MATLAB. Specifically, if you have a source that I didn't mention yet, I'd love to see that because I'm genuinely interested in see what you say. And also for other viewers of this video, hopefully we can get a small repository of useful information so that when we need to learn MATLAB and we're all alone late at night, we have a longer list of resources than the ones that I mentioned in this video. Thanks for your attention, y'all. I'll see you in the next one.